Director of The Lost Tomb of Jesus and co-author of the companion book, The Jesus Family Tomb. And Bruce Feiler is a best-selling author and adventurer who has explored many places in the Bible for his latest book, Where God Was Born. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Hannah.
Simca, are you attacking the basic tenets of Christianity, that Jesus indeed rose from the dead?
First of all, I'm not a theologian. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm a reporter. And I'm reporting a set of facts. It's interesting that people want God's DNA or what. I'm not in the business of theology. I'm reporting a set of facts. It's a fact that the tomb was found. It's a fact that there's a Jesus, son of Joseph, buried in that tomb. There's two Marys. There's a Judah, son of Jesus. These are facts. So what we are doing is reporting, saying, hey, world, pay attention. Don't discuss theology. First, let's discuss the facts, and then let's see the implications on theology.
All right, let's discuss a few of the facts, starting with the names. Could that be coincidental? How popular were the names that he just stated at that time?
21% of all women were called Mary at the time. Joseph and Jesus were among the top 3 names. And I think that the facts are very important. And the facts are, there is no DNA proof. All they have is the DNA proof that one of the bones of the women are not related to one of the bones of the men, patrilineally.
Which could be total coincidence.
Well, we have no evidence.
It doesn't mean anything,
I just want to point out something. I'm a journalist. I'm not an expert, just like Bruce is not an expert. When I want to discuss statistics, I don't make up statistics. I went to statisticians. 4 studies we commissioned. Professor Feuerberger, a professor of mathematics from the University of Toronto, was the most conservative. He said 600 to 1 in favor of this tomb, based on the names that Bruce just mentioned, that it is the tomb of Jesus of Nazareth. Now, if other statisticians now want to weigh in, that's great. But why are people who don't know anything about statistics, including me, talking statistics?
Well, let's talk about experts here. The man who actually led the excavation of this tomb back in 1980.
He actually did not lead. The man who led it is dead. 2 of the men are left. One of them was at our, Professor Shimon Gibson, at our press conference.
And one of them says that he does not buy this on a historical level or an archaeological level.
No, on a statistical level. He says the names are common. Again, I say, Professor Kloner knows a lot about archaeology. He's in my film, he's in my book. But he knows nothing about statistics. Professor Shimon Gibson, the co-founder of this thing, says, I'm open, it's possible. Let's discuss the facts.
Let's talk about the location of the tomb, because in all 4 Gospels, a gentleman named Joseph of Arimathea requested the body of Jesus. He buried it in his tomb. Where is Jesus actually believed to have been buried, as opposed to where this tomb is located?
Well, there's a lot more evidence, actually, if you want to go with the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in the Old City. In fact, even the Romans at the time tried to banish it. But, you know, I think the larger point is really what matters here, Hannah. Why do people look to us, those of us, as you kindly pointed out in Where God Was Born, my new book, I went spelunking through much more important caves, took C-130s into Baghdad, went to Iran, to places not seen by Westerners in decades. And because people are trying to struggle to understand what are the roles of these stories in our lives, is there truth behind them? And I think to use this kind of statistical mumbo-jumbo and stand up in a press conference in a dark room and say that one of the pillars of Western civilization is not true is irresponsible at best and tawdry at worst. And I think that at least Dan Brown.
Mumbo jumbo, you're plugging your book. That's okay, I'm plugging my book. But I'm just saying, we've got facts. Discuss the facts. Mumbo jumbo.
What about the fact that Jesus' father, Joseph, was a carpenter? He was from a very, very humble family. Could they have even afforded a family tomb like the one that was found?
They couldn't have afforded this. They lived in Nazareth, which is 3 days.
You know what? Why don't you let him talk, and then we'll let you talk.
All right,
okay?
3 days away in Nazareth. They could not have afforded it. There is no evidence that this man and woman ever knew each other. There is no evidence they were married. There is no evidence they ever sired a child. I mean, the same filmmakers last year produced a documentary saying that the Exodus was real. Now they're saying one that the New Testament is false. One of these documentaries is false. At least Dan Brown called his book fiction. In fact, I'm prepared to say, Hannah, there is more truth in Dan Brown's fiction than there is in Simca's fact. It's really irresponsible to prey on the emotions of people who love these stories.
What about people who say this is nothing more than a publicity stunt, Simca?
You know, again, I can just say we put forward a set of facts, and the set of facts, the tomb is real, the inscriptions are real, DNA was gathered, it's real. We know he was buried in the tomb, the Gospels tell us so. We know he could afford a tomb in Jerusalem because the Gospels tell us so. The question is, which tomb? Church of the Holy Sepulchre or the one we're presenting. We brought statistical evidence. Now people have to see the film, read the book, and weigh the facts instead of coming with these emotional reactions about beloved stories.
Maybe the thing we can all agree on is that religion is a matter of faith. It's not a matter of science. Right. Thank you both for being with us. That's Simcha Jakubowicz and Bruce Feiler.